Welcome to MarketPulse Pros and Pioneers. Each week, I talk with industry leaders on both marketing and entrepreneurship and business to find out all about their wins and failures in marketing right now. We'll hear all about successes and wins and what's fallen flat so that you can take that knowledge and implement it. Learn from the best, from the folks who've been there and done it all, as well as people just like you. Thanks for joining us. This is MarketPulse Pros and Pioneers.
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of MarketPulse Pros and Pioneers. This week, I don't know why, but I invited back Philip Bacon because having him on once wasn't enough to float my boat. We had to have him back for some more discussions. And this week's episode is dedicated to a review of 2024 from a marketing perspective, as well as thoughts for 2025. We like to do this once a year and we thought, why not? Instead of doing it behind the cameras, why not do it together live in a podcast episode and share with you all the tomfoolery that goes around that? Phil, I'd say it's nice to have you back, but you twisted my arm enough to make you come on the show. Well done.
You gave me 50 quid. You told me to come back and I'll give you 50 quid. And now it's been said, that's going to go out and you're going to have to send me 50 quid. I want a crisp £50 note, please, this time, Banksy. None of your knockoff printed at home ones.
Oh, you caught me out. It's if you don't know Phil, he used to run Bacon Marketing. Didn't run Bacon Marketing anymore. He runs Marketing Managed. It's the same business. He just renamed it. He just had so much spare time in his hands that he decided to rebrand, rename it, completely revolutionize what he's doing, cause himself a ton of heartache and hard work, and all at the same time as his baby arrived. So Phil is now a 2 times dad. The bags under his eyes have definitely gotten bigger. But he's still managing to go to the gym, which is great for him. So well done. Well done for continuing to go to the gym despite all of that, Phil.
Yeah. I go to the gym. I actually do go to the gym. I don't just go there and sit there and just go to the bar. That was this year. We hit the beginning of the year and things were okay. We knew we had to make some changes. And one of the things that had been bubbling around the back of my head has always been that maybe I made a mistake branding everything up as Bacon Marketing. It's very limiting. It's a business limiting. It was a business limiting decision at the time, but it seemed like a good idea because it had my name on it and everything was based off of me. That's one of the things we've learned this is one of the things I've learned over the last few years actually, is that you can limit your business by putting your name on it. For some people, it works absolutely fine, but for me, it didn't. Because it meant that I was always the person that everybody wanted to speak to. Even when there's other people in the mix, there's other people looking after clients, everything would come back to me. And it's always, I only want to speak to the boss. In actual fact, I've had a couple of occasions of that this year. I only want to speak to Phil. So you've never actually spoken to me. So what do you think you're going to get a different answer out of me than my team? Because I will support my team if they're right. And generally speaking, they're going to be right. Yes, there might be alternative ways to look at something, but I'm not going to make them look like they're wrong because they've also already spoken to me. We talk internally. And so the renaming started happening, came up with a fantastic name. Nobody could pronounce it. And so that got canned. And ultimately, there was also a whole load of work on how we work. So marketing agencies, typically you get a proposal. We're going to do X bits of work for you. It's going to cost you this much money and we're going to spend this much time on it. Well, we moved away from a time-bound model this year and we moved to an outputs model, which means if we mess it up, that's on us. If we go so far wrong, we have to fix it and we can't charge you again for it, which is actually better for you as a client. So we did a lot of work on that with the guys at A Few Good People. We've actually created a marketing catalog. So you can pick and choose which activities you want done. We can recommend them and we work from there. And we did all the rebranding. We did that during September. When I say during September, the final bit when we actually went live was towards the end of September / the 1st of October.
Hi, and thanks for joining us for the show. I'm Paul, founder here at Javelin Content Management.
We specialize in getting ideas out of your head, down into video, and out to your social media through repurposing and efficient content strategies. If you want to find out how you can convert your ideal audience into paying customers, reach out to us, javelincontent.com, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the episode.
My daughter was born days later.
It's incredibly well planned, Phil. It's
was-
almost like you had no idea your baby was due.
Oh, I had every idea, and apparently it was a very good idea, according to experts. What? Just need to put one of those little dog signs around my neck like a dog does to say that he's an expert in cheese and everything. I'm sure you can do that with a little sticker. Yeah, so that's what we did. Big positives on that, though. It's been well received. And since then, it's made life a lot easier because not only did we rebrand, reposition, we also redefined our niche. And we've niched down much, much further. Not only on the industry that we focus on, but also on the services we offer. And this meant we can say no. We probably said no to about 60% of the people that we get through. But it's a no but, because I've also spent the last year and a half working very hard on relationships and building out relationships with more people across more parts of the marketing spectrum. So now we have I already had a little black book that was pretty healthy. Now the little black book is absolutely rammed. If you need something, I've probably got the person that can help with that. But there's no probably about it. I have the person that can help.
And that's fine. If you can't hear that, that's Bertie the dog going bonkers in the background somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, Bertie is also now to be fair, actually, Bertie is now our email persona. Emails that come out from Mark being managed are from Bertie.
I think it's brilliant. I love that.
I mean, Bertie's been on enough calls with clients over the years, and he's generally one of the things that gets talked about quite a lot because Bertie's a good dog, and he's generally around with people. He's around with clients. People meet him, and then they just fall in love with him. So I thought, why not just add him into the mix?
Why not? It's a nice piece of personality. Of personality.
And that's what we got to this year. And whilst all that's been going on, we've also seen some absolute car crashes from brands. We've also seen a lot of changes within the industry and the way that things work. And a lot of methodology that people have been using over the last, well, in particular over the last few years, is now getting absolutely hammered to the point where it is, you can't use it. One, you can't use it anymore. Two, you should never have really been using it in the first place. And three, people being outed for doing such things.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and we've been following the same person. I think they've earned a shout out, if I'm fair, Phil.
Oh, what, Mr. Dagger Hall?
Yeah.
Or Mr.
Educated me, definitely.
Yeah, and actually, there's been a few occasions where his posts have come up, and I've gone, so they're not in a pod. A few very influential creators who are not in pods who have very pod-like behavior. One in particular that was noted that they are not in a pod, but their followers are, which then has the ripple effect that they need to amplify themselves without having to be in a pod themselves.
Without implicating themselves. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
So,
if you're watching along and you have no idea what a pod is, a pod is a group of LinkedIn users or any other social platform for that matter.
Social network.
It's a group of social network followers who agree to comment and engage and reshare and like, etc. each other's posts for nefarious reasons or for genuine reasons. However, my argument against all of that has always been, why would I want to join a bunch of other people who do what I do, even if I could find a bunch of people who do what I do, to all comment on my posts when actually they're not my target audience and it's got no relevance whatsoever other than to boost my vanity metrics, make the algorithm tip over and eventually put me into viral mode, which does me no favors whatsoever. But people still want to do it. And the irony of most of those people who are in those pods still can't make enough money to run their own business and end up going to real people who can help them to market themselves.
Yeah, when we've picked up a few over the last couple of years, that have been in pods and wondering why their engagement isn't real, why they're not getting conversation starting. It's all because it's not real. It's you're shouting into an echo chamber where you and 500 other people are shouting the same message at each other. And yes, the numbers look fantastic, but one, it breaks the terms of service for LinkedIn. So that's not a good thing. Two, LinkedIn also are very anti-automation tool, so that doesn't help you. And three, you've also got the fact that people know what pod behavior looks like now. It's the shortest of shortest comments being left on a post. It's the posts with very limited amount of value being added by people afterwards. It's the same people engaging with the same people's content all the time. It does you no favors.
Can I just say, do you remember back in January when I did my fake influencers series?
Yeah.
I called it in January. We're still talking about it in November. But at least it seems to be out in the open now, thanks to some good people. And the way that Daniel Hall finds people are part of pods is absolutely incredibly genius. Very, very technical, but very, very public information nonetheless, if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I will definitely put the notes for Daniel Hall LinkedIn in this post. I'm gonna make sure he gets a shout out because he does some incredibly hard work on outing people. But for me, my biggest problem with all of the above is that it sets false expectations for clients.
Yep, it does. And that's been the big battle this year, is actually expectation management. People are expecting more and more without actually putting more and more in, and also expecting more from the same action. We can put out a social post and it gets some traction. Put out the same social post or a similar post 6 months later and it gets no traction. Well, there's multiple parts there. It's right time, right place, right message, right audience. In those 6 months, you might have changed your audience. It's a different time. It's a different location. It's a different, it might not be a relevant topic anymore. And also things are changing with social media. You will not get the same results out of it anymore. Whereas over the last 4 years, 7.5 months, right? 4 3/4 years, even. I've had 2 children.
Call it 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. Over the last 5 years, I've had 2 children. Oscar was born during lockdown, which was ideal, because, I was here. It's made life a lot easier. And then Eloise was born this year. Posting about Oscar being born, visibility and reach through the roof, engagement through the roof. Post about Eloise, engagement through the roof, visibility, bugger all. I was looking at the metrics earlier on, just because I like to look at the metrics every now and again, because data. Visibility of the post about her, 300, just over 300 people saw that post. 99 people engaged with it. And that's not including comments. That's just the reactions. There's another 40 or so people that have commented on that as well. So you're looking at around a 45% engagement rate on a social post, which if that had been with 10, 15, 20, 100,000 people, that post would be viral.
Yeah. It's funny exactly the same experience on my side of things. That ties up exactly with what I'm seeing as well. Is it surprises me the indicators that used to indicate a post would do well on LinkedIn are no longer relevant, because same sort of thing, high amount of engagement, high amount of comments, lots of repeat comments, lots of interaction on the comments, follow-up comments on the comments on the comments, and still only receiving about 500 views. Yeah. Like when I first started doing this 5.5 years ago or whatever, I'd have expected to see 10,000 views on that.
Yep.
10,000 minimum.
Well,
and I've seen them.
Yeah, I've had one post get significant reach in the last, this is only the last couple of weeks. So there's obviously some shifts going on, but the last couple of weeks I've had one post that's had significant reach, and that had some 10 15,000 views or something like that on it. So it's not particularly high. It was almost a throwaway post as well. It had quite reasonable engagement, but it was very.
I tell you what I do see. In fact, I tell you what I do see. I see a lot of repeat engagement over the coming days and up to a week later, or even longer than that sometimes. And I put out 2 or 3 posts a day, right? Once upon a time, that was
you put
awesome.
posts out in 45 minutes yesterday, Mr. Banks.
Right. But and I still get engagement on all of those posts.
Yeah.
And I do think that LinkedIn have knuckled down on tagging other people in your post. I think when you tag other people in your post and you get engagement from them and their network and your network, that is something that contributes much more. But obviously they also penalise heavier if that person doesn't then engage or none of their network engage from it. Yeah. But I think that when you do tag people and they reciprocate, that you get a huge boost from that now, whereas once upon a time. And it just goes to show, I'll be honest, I could give 2 figs about the LinkedIn algorithm anymore. I just try to be me. I try and do as much best practice as I can, but ultimately it's got to be about what I enjoy doing, how I enjoy engaging with LinkedIn, and what's convenient for me, and what I think works for my audience. And if the algorithm boosts that, brilliant. If it doesn't, don't care.
Well,
that's where I'm at.
That kind of leads into other things that have been going on. There's obviously been a number of changes with the way that Google works, obviously by extension, things like Bing as well. But it's all comes back down to the same key point. Do it for humans. Don't do it for the algorithm. Humans engage with stuff, algorithms catalog stuff. That's it. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Do it for humans because humans engage. The more a human engages, the more the algorithm will pick up that content, whether that's through Google for organic search, whether that's for social, whether that's for any channel. Do it for humans. Make it human. And also that kind of leads into there's obviously this year has been very much focused on AI content production for a lot of people, the pros and cons of that. And there are some significant pros to AI content production. If it's done well and it's done right and with the backbone of common sense on it, don't just chuck a keyword at it and go make me a blog or a post on that and then just fire it out without really thinking it through. Go through the process, ideate, curate, create, quality control, post.
Well, I noticed one of the things that you've started doing recently, and I love to post on a weekend, like the Friday post that summarizes LinkedIn.
Oh,
and
my
the bit I
Sundays.
love. Oh, is it a Sunday? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
The bit I love about it is the fact that everything on there contradicts itself. It's like AI is great, AI is not great. LinkedIn's great, LinkedIn's not great. Like it's such an echo chamber on LinkedIn right now.
Yep. Well, this is it. I mean, I did it. I did it a couple of weeks. Well, I say a couple of weeks ago. It was probably about a month or so ago, around the time that Eloise was born, because I was like, I can't keep up with this. There's so much going on. I just need to. Oh, hello. Wait a moment. If I start writing down stuff during the week, I'll remember it at the weekend and be able to go back and look for it. Oh no, that doesn't work. So I ended up just writing this too long didn't read post, and it basically had the headlines of everything that I'd seen on LinkedIn during the week, things that are repeating topics. And yes, there is that element of contradiction, and that is the nature of the beast. There's always a contradicting argument to everything. And then there's a few that are sort of semi-sensible as well. Things like last week you had Jaguar, and then and then on Sunday you had the petition for the government to redo the election. So, well, that's never going to happen anyway. You have to wait another 3 years, 9 months, and some days. And also, by the time we get to this being released, it will have been announced that I'm Prime Minister, because all I've got to do is last longer than the lettuce. In fact, to be fair, I don't need to last longer than that.
We've got a £22 billion deficit in the budget. Let's go and spend another couple of billion on another general election, everyone. No. Let's not get into politics.
No.
Dangerous ground.
Anyway,
I'll get cancelled.
I'll be Prime Minister by then anyway, so it'll be fine. And yeah, those are the posts started coming through, and I was literally it's now as soon as a topic, not a post, but a topic gains some virility, I'm jotting it down on my phone, and then on Sunday, I'm posting it. And the pictures that go with it are actually from the pictures that I've taken at Longleat. There is one particular picture where there is a monkey that has ripped the windscreen wiper off of my father-in-law's car.
I remember that happening.
Yeah.
I remember you sending me a photo.
Yeah, I need to find the videos actually, because there is video footage somewhere of this monkey beating another monkey with his windscreen wiper, which at Longleat is quite normal. Normal life, that is not normal.
But I think it just goes to show that there is so much backwards and forwards. And if you spend so much of your time worrying about things like the algorithm and vanity metrics, things like that, then you're going to miss the big picture, which is you, your business, and your audience. Yeah, what's 2024 been like from a marketing agency perspective, Phil? Because actually, I'm kind of a subset service provider to the marketing agency world to an extent.
You're an oddity, because you sit
I am.
kind of on the fringe. You sit on the fringe of things where actually you don't fit into agency land,
No.
and you don't fit into like a consultancy. You're a very niche service that, well, people either want or they don't. Whereas in our case, people come to us and go, we want this, 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 and this. It's like, right, okay. We do the proposal. It then goes into their thing, and it takes them however long it's going to take to actually make a decision. And a lot of the conversations I've had with other agency owners, from smaller than mine through to big national/multinational ones, the same topic has come up, and that is time. It's not that we're not being timely. It's not that we're running out of time on project. It's actually the time it takes for things to convert. And we can qualify it as much as possible during the decision-making process, and up to the point where we do a proposal. But actually, we're finding that it is now 6, 9, 12, 18 months before conversion. And actually this year we converted one that we started talking to in Q3 2021, and we converted them in Q2 this year. That's how long it took to convert them.
What's behind that, do you think?
That's an extreme. That was an extreme, but there is a norm that's happening that is 9 to 12 months is normal, and even 18 months is starting to be seen as normal. Because people are starting to go, right, well, what do I need? We're going to put together our budgets now, and then we're going to think about it. Then they go off and try and bring somebody in-house to do it for them. Or they try to train their people up in-house to do it, when their people in-house are already absolutely swamped up to the eyeballs and beyond, and don't have the capacity left to do the work anyway. Sometimes they don't have the skills. And if they do have the skills, they haven't got the capacity. If they don't have the capacity and they don't have the skills, they get told to do it anyway, and it goes wrong. So they go, no, it wasn't worth doing because it failed. Or it wasn't worth doing because you didn't put the time, the resources behind it. What really failed is you made a bad decision.
Well, what's changed there though? Because surely was that not always the case?
It's always been the case. But the thing is, people are becoming a lot more resistant to the idea of actually saying yes to somebody else doing it, because they look at the price tag and go, oh, I think I need to just try and do it on my own. We've had this over and over and over again. We want to work with an agency, then they come back and go, oh, actually, we decided not to. So, well, okay, why? Because we think we can do it in-house. Okay, and in some cases they do, and it works out fantastically. But they needed that sense check by going to speak to a few agencies to see whether it is even viable. But then you get the other side of it where it fails miserably, and then they go, marketing doesn't work. That's the other thing, is they've been burnt before or not even burnt. They've tried things before, but they've only tried it up to a point. We spoke to somebody around this time last year, actually, who said, oh, we've tried everything. We went through all the different things they could have that seemed appropriate for them to try. And they said, yep, done all of those things. And so when did you start doing these things? 2 months ago. There's like 3 years worth of work to prove that these channels wouldn't work for them. And they thought they'd done it in 2 months. Well, you haven't. You haven't done it in 2 months. You still need to do more. You actually need to test things properly and not just go, oh, that one attempt it didn't work. You need to try different messaging, different tactics, different targeting, different channels. And like one channel is not going to work over another one if the messaging is wrong for that channel. Take that messaging, put it somewhere else, test it there, test it somewhere else again. And if it still doesn't work, okay, fine. Remove that messaging, try different messaging across those 3 channels. And every single time you find a different part that works with a different audience. Oh, look, you have multiple audiences.
Do you think that that's kind of spurred on by the economy then? Because businesses are finding it so hard to just find any cash to spend on anything right now.
Well, there is definitely part that's going to be down to the economy, but this has been getting progressively worse over the last few years. And that's not just for us. That seems to be across the board from the conversations we've had. I mean, I know you've seen similar as well, where people are just, the other bit is people just ghost as well. If I go back and look at the number of proposals we've lost this year that we've got a reason for versus the ones that have just ghosted us, double. We've lost double from ghosting. And that's not because we haven't tried. We have a fairly rigorous follow-up process. Email, social, direct, like actually sticking something in a real world letter, phone calls. We have multiple touch points after a proposal's gone out. And if they don't respond, we know that sometimes it takes a little while, and also life happens. So you just nudge away, you send them over interesting content that's relevant to them and actually nurture them through that process. But after a while, they don't respond. It's like, well, why are we putting the effort in?
Yeah.
And you've got
to draw a line under it.
12 months. Because actually,
got to draw a line under it.
It does take that long. But at the same time, once we hit that hard cutoff point, they're still in our marketing system anyway. So they will get marketed too. So they continue to get nurtured. They just don't have somebody actively doing it.
So then, as we bring this episode to a bit of a close, what's, from your perspective, something that we've learned from 2024 that no longer works, that people maybe still think does work? What do you know that doesn't work from a marketing perspective that they should just put to bed once and for all?
I really want to be so flippant at this point and say cold email outreach, cold sales calls, social media.
It's all dead.
It's all dead. Dead. SEO is dead.
Cold calling, meeting people in person, networking.
Don't meet people in person because, Christ, you don't want to build a relationship with somebody at all, do you?
Dead. Audio's dead. LinkedIn Live's dead.
Podcasts are dead. They're done. They're done.
Out the window.
No. Do you know what? Nothing is actually dead. It's just poor tactics.
Stop saying things are dead.
Poor execution is dead. And poor execution needs to be literally needs to be tossed in the sea with lead weights around it, because you're not going to get what you want out of it unless you actually sit down, you plan it out, you have a strategy that goes with it, you have the tactics to support the strategy, you have goals in mind, you put a plan together, and you go through the steps and go through the motion properly. Once you've done that, then you know that you can iterate, you can experiment and try stuff. What's that thing? Be human. That was it.
You said that deadpan as well. I love it. I couldn't agree more. What's one thing you do want people to start thinking about this year coming, if they haven't already? What do you want people to consider for going into 2025 from a marketing perspective? What might not be on the radar that you know is going to work like never before?
You know what? It's not a thing that is going to work like never before. It's actually going to be, know what you want. Know what you actually want to achieve, and listen when somebody tells you that your expectations are wildly off. Because if you go to an agency and say, I'm going to pick on lead generation right now because it's the easiest one to pick on. I want 10,000 leads a month. Well, unless you're going to put the budget behind it to actually execute on that, then you're not going to get it. be realistic in what you want. And if somebody just says yes to what you want, be wary, because they're just saying yes. They're not qualifying what it is. You're not going to get reasoned answers. Ask questions. Be realistic and know what you actually want.
Push back and find out where their no is.
Yeah.
Like that for me is a real one.
Yeah.
Like if people never say no to you, then they're not genuine. Like everybody who's good at what they do has a point at which they will say, no, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Or no, we don't do that. No, we won't offer that. No, I can't personally do that, but I know someone who will.
Yeah. We've done that over the last couple of weeks. We're sat in on a joint proposal with somebody else, and I've actually said, no, sorry, but we're not working with you. You're not ready for us. You've got to be ready for that type of marketing that's going to happen. And ultimately, most of the problem comes down to the fact that there is no real strategic thinking behind the marketing that's being done. So there's no qualifying, there's no meaningful measurement, and there's no purpose to it. So these tools that needs to be the front and center of your mind. Make sure your marketing has a purpose and a reason for it. Otherwise, you're just shouting around doing stuff. You might as well go and eat a cup with the caterpillar.
And laugh at Aldi's legal team.
Yeah. I mean, Aldi's legal team, there's about 10 times the size of their marketing team.
Just facto,
the marketing team has to solve their
probably being supplemented by ChatGPT now. They've replaced most of their market, their legal team with ChatGPT. That just says no. That's all it needs to be trained to do. It's just a very specific bot. Yeah, no.
No, or do it anyway. We know.
Phil, if people want to hear more from you, I don't know why they would, but if people want to hear more from you, they want to get in touch, they want to ask any questions, or they perhaps want to look at market and managed capabilities, or how can they get in touch with you? How can they find out more?
Okay, so find out more about me, go on my LinkedIn, which is in the links that Paul will provide you with. Find out more about the company, marketingmanager.agency is our website address. The new website will be live by the time this episode goes out, hopefully. If you want to work with us, book a call with me or one of my team. If you want to book me for podcasts, general speeches, to stand on stage and be laughed at. I'm not a comedian, but I'll give it a bash. Again, DM, just send me a DM, or you can email me, or you can email Bertie. Bertie will respond appropriately with a woof woof. Here,
and a woof woof that you can't book him as a DJ anymore. Okay, people.
You can.
He's not allowed to say it all. Oh wait, we can. Okay.
Yeah, no, my agent.
He can market you and DJ you out of existence.
Yeah, my agent convinced me to not retire.
Come back out of retirement, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. You'll be pleased to know that Techno and House are live in Phil's house once again.
No. Country and Western, mate.
That's enough about your achy breaky heart. Right, we're off. Thank you very much for joining us on this bonus episode of Market Pulse, and I will see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to feature on a future show, or you've got some ideas for folks who would make a great guest, please drop us a line. Contact details are in the show notes, and I'd love to hear from you. Your host today was me, Paul Banks, founder at Javelin Content Management. Here at Javelin, we specialise in helping busy business owners just like you to repurpose video content, taking all the stress and tech problems away and turning your long-form video into literally hundreds of pieces of content without breaking the bank. We describe it as getting ideas out of your head into video and out to your socials. If you want to launch your personal brand, become the vendor of choice for your audience, or maximise your sales revenue impact, we'd love to hear from you. Join us next Wednesday for the next episode, and don't forget to subscribe and give us a review. Our podcast is only possible with your continued support.